I installed anti-gravity of Google, I think 2 days after it came out. And it was a malware anti-gravity that took my Gemini API key, and I got like a $200 bill. It was unpleasant. Okay, I get the hype, all right? OpenClaw hype, but how to install it safely? I see so many videos online and tutorials online that get this the wrong way and tell you how to install and how to click and where to click and what to put and what variables to do. But in the end of the day, you have such a big risk with this beautiful technology, don't get me wrong, amazing technology, but such a big, enormous risk for your data, privacy, wallet, everything that we have to migrate. And this is what we're going to talk about today. I see so many Linux guys explaining you how to create a VPS remote and how to secure it and how to loop back and VPN it and all this kind of stuff. I don't think it's bad. I think it's good. But it's just part of the equation that completely neglects the other very important basics that we have to have, like fundamentals that we have to have on such a machine with OpenClaw, which essentially is an agent loop, all right? A personal assistant, whatever you're gonna call it, 24 hours, yeah, whatever you're gonna call it, essentially an agent loop. OpenClaw is amazing because the entire world is there, the entire community is there, and OpenAI is jumping in as well, so their developer is gonna be there as well. So I think this project is gonna flourish and gonna provide us even more greater open source stuff. So I think OpenClaw is a great project. Don't get me wrong here, but whoa, we gotta sort things out. Now, this video is for techies. If you guys want, leave me a comment and I'll do maybe a normie version of this, maybe a written one, maybe a Git repository. I don't know, guys, but if you need this, let me know. When we're trying to understand what are the risks of having a personal assistant that is alive 24/7. What are the risks? Now, that personal assistant, where does it live? It lives in a machine. So the risk about the machine is, first of all, physical. So you need to encrypt this stuff, you need to think about this stuff, right? But not just physical security issue, but also we have cyber security issue, because if your personal assistant is connected to the network, well, someone can use that network in order to log into your system and essentially pass by all the encryption and everything and get all your personal data. So this is another consideration to have, and guys, we have this already with all of our devices. Okay, so all those Linux guys tutorials that show you how to install, like, this is a BS, because okay, you can protect your machine with a firewall and VPN and loopback and tailscale. Yeah, I know you can. We all know we can. But it doesn't solve the problem. The problem is I want to be able to connect my personal assistant with real data so she can, or it can, mine is a male, by the way, it can help you create more stuff as a solopreneur, as an entrepreneur, as a whatever you are, all right, doesn't matter. So I want this capability. I want my loop agent to be able to connect to my Google, for example. But I don't trust the loop agent. And because we're talking about agents with AI and all this kind of stuff, the agent itself is another vulnerability, and rather big one, because the agent can install anything on the device. Absolutely. All right. The agent can see everything that is on the device. Absolutely. That kind of intelligence can do anything on the computer. Now that's a risk as well. And this risk tells us, both of them, both of the first risks tells us that we need to be very mindful of what credentials we're going to put on the machine itself. And I'm going to break it down, guys, just a moment, for 3 different sections of security that I put on my OpenClaw in order to make it more secure. And the third thing is that the agent itself, if someone is asking or having access to that agent, somehow it could be through conversation, but it also could be through prompt injection. All right. If someone have access to it and tell it what to do in a structured way, the agent will do it. And if the agent have access to secrets, which in OpenClaw by design in OpenClaw it has, like let's give the agent the whole data and he will set up itself for us. All right. So that philosophy, well, if someone have access to our agent, well, that's a big problem. For example, I'm just gonna name it out here, like the ClawHub, as they call it, like the hub with all the skills that people can share skills and all this. Yeah, that's I think 10% is already proven to be malware. 10% of the skills there. I think the most downloaded skill, other than the official one of Peter, I think it was malware. So you guys don't connect your OpenClaw guy to that hub before you install any skill. We're not going to talk about this, but just the comment. Before you install any skill, read the skill. And most of the skills, guys, you don't need to download from the internet. The biggest consideration for me here is the key and the secrets themselves to be leaked. And it's not just the machine to be SSH'd or VPN'd or all this kind of stuff. It's the keys inside the machine and the agent inside the machine that can be compromised and cost me loss of data, loss of, reputation, deeply legal issues, and wallet money a lot. All right. And I'm saying this after I got compromised. I installed anti-gravity of Google, I think 2 days after it came out. And it was a malware anti-gravity that took my Gemini API key, and I got like a $200 bill. It was unpleasant, but at least I discovered it in time so I could take back the API key. And we're going to talk about this right now. 3 considerations. First, the machine. Second is the variables, the API keys. And third is what I called system 2. Let's start with the machine. I don't think it matters so much if you're using a VPS or you're using a laptop you have. I do think that buying a Mac Mini is a waste of money and should not be done for just running OpenClaw. This is an overkill and e-waste in so many levels. You can just take an old laptop you don't use, install Linux on it with an SD card, and that's it. You have a server. Now that's important. Secure the machine itself. First of all, keep it in somewhere safe if you are using your house, or make sure you are using the right provider with the right security measures when you are using a VPS, all right? AI can help you choose the one, but also secure it with a firewall, secure it with an SSH, secure it with a loopback, and all those. You have plenty of how-tos tutorials on how to do that. I'm not gonna cover this today, but please make sure it's secure. I love Linux, by the way. Next, env variables. So important. Every single key that you are putting on that machine can and might be compromised. Therefore, we need to be super mindful about what keys we're gonna put in that machine with the OpenClaw. Because whatever keys we're gonna put there, the agent itself will be able to see them because he's so smart. You cannot really hide it from it. Okay? So first of all, before I talk about the tech stuff, pick the API keys you want the agent to have and don't give it those you don't want it to have. Okay? What is big of a deal is once you want, and I wanted, to connect my agent to Google or to my emails, or to my systems that I talk with my employees. Those kind of stuff matters, and the agent can help tremendously, but you need to make sure you don't give the agent those variables and those keys and those secrets, because if those will get compromised, for me, it's a devastation. It's a devastation. ENV safety. First of all, use LiteLLM. LiteLLM is a proxy provider for all the APIs providers, AI providers out there, all of them. It's open source, you can self-host it. Use LiteLLM. Do not use LiteLLM on the same machine that you are using for OpenClaw. If you want, you can have 2 Docker containers, maybe, but it's not, I don't think it's a good idea. All right? Put LiteLLM on a different machine, and then you can use a VPS or a local host, depends who you are, but really separate the machines and the networks, separate them. LiteLLM is amazing. Read about this. I'm not gonna go in depth about this. Another thing to keep in mind is to have environment variables pushed from the cloud to the machine only in the RAM. That helps us that if someone will steal or get access to the machine, they don't really have easy access to the API keys we are already giving to our OpenClaw. I hope you get what I'm saying. I think it may be too complex, I don't know. But we decided, we distilled the API keys we do want to have for our Claw. Great. And now we put all of them in a secret vault, and we upload them only to the RAM. For example, a tool that is using this is Duplet. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but something like that. Another is InPhysical, which is a local host, open source. You can create a vault with all your secrets, and this is what matters here, guys, and I think it's very important. LiteLLM for the model access, and a secret vault for your environment variables, that's great. But don't put environment variables that you don't want to get compromised. And now we're gonna get to the third action, which is very important. I call it System 2. System 2, what does it mean? I want my agents to have access to real data. And over there, I will do everything I can to have the API keys untouchable by them, because I don't trust the agents, because I know that if someone will ask kindly enough or in a sophisticated way, good enough, they will give that person the API keys, and I don't want it to happen. So I separate it. I have another system that is built on code and not on agents, that store all this important data and have MCP server that I control with a code, not with an agent, that tells what to do and how to give that data to the agent. So the agent is basically calling the MCP server, asking, hey, can I get the emails? The MCP server have a code about this, how to give it to the agent and give it back. Now, for reading emails, that's okay. But for writing emails, inside that code of the MCP server, I have human in the loop, which means every time one of my agents wants to write an email, for example, I get a notification somewhere and I can click if I approve it or not approve it. That way, even if the API key and my MCP server or anything like that will get compromised, because my agent knows the API key for the MCP server, right? That way, nobody can write emails on my behalf unless I approve it. Maybe they can read, and I get this, I get this risk, but nobody can write. You can do the same thing, not just with emails. You can do that with drive uploads. You can do that with contacts. You can do that with anything destructive. Doesn't matter, okay? What do I use for System 2? You can write code and host it somewhere. You can definitely do. You can use an agent to write the code and then host it somewhere and put all the environment variables. That's a good idea. What I like to use is I like to use self-hosted N8N for that. And for N8N, because I'm lazy, I let my agent to create the MCP server, the workflow in N8N, and then I unplug it from there so I can use the workflow it created and let it, What I love about N8N is that I can edit it with a user interface, nice one. It's maintainable by the community. I don't need to work a lot on connecting a new service, a Notion service, because someone already built that node. And I really liked it. I really liked the software for a long time. And I think now the use case of using N8N as an MCP server for our agents, it's amazing, because you can have all the great things about N8N just wrapped for your real life agent, which is fantastic. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed it, because this is how you keep your OpenClaw as safe as possible. Now, it's not going to be 100% safe. It is going to be significantly more safe, because we are helping the 3 levels we talked about in the first bit of this video. Layer number 1 is the machine itself. We don't put variables that we don't want to have there. We don't put them. We just don't put them there. We put it somewhere else. And most importantly, the agent itself. Because if the agent will not be able to see the environment variables, well, then we are way more safe, because we cannot trust those agents. Not right now, and I don't think in the near future. We have to have those agent proxies, MCP servers, whatever, in between to disconnect between the agent and the data that matters. They cannot be on the same machine anymore. They have to be separate, because agents are so capable right now. And sometimes they want to solve a thing, and they will do any jailbreak thing in order to achieve what they want to achieve. And that's why we separate it as much as we can. This is how I build it for my OpenClaw, and this is how I highly suggest you to build it yourself. I want to name here a couple of things. First of all, you can give the agent this video to help you understand how you can improve your own agent. You can do that. I highly suggest you, by the way, to do that. LiteLLM, please check them out. They are doing such an amazing job. N8N, please check them out. They're doing such an amazing job. And all the other solutions I offered here. I hope it was helpful. I might did it over dramatic here, but I think this is, it's such a pain for me to see what's going on out there and see that, people are risking so much money and so much data, personal data. I couldn't stay by. If you have better ideas on how we can secure our Claw. And I think if we as a techies can have a repository, a plugin for Claw, all right, that help normies to install it in one shot, like Peter did, which is such a big contribution for this world and planet. I'm so happy for him. If we can do this as a community, that will be even better. I hope this video will reach out to the OpenClaw guys to maybe rethink about the way they structure things, because I think it's an amazing project, but the lack of environment variable safety is, and everything is on the config file, guys, not even in the .env, on a config file. Oh my God. Okay. Good luck for all of you. I love you. Bye-bye.